So I drilled the center hole, and it's an interrupted cut. There is a cut in the shaft there, so it's not too bad. You can hear it, but it's doing okay now. I tightened the gips a little bit. This is an old harmonic which we're just going over, and it seems to be okay. Got a brand new live center just to make sure we don't get any run out there. Just machine that down and see what we measure. That's alright. I can see here that I can feel it's lifting. So I need to check what's wrong with our tool roller. I just don't like them. We'll figure out. I need to watch that. Seems it's doing well now. You can see that cut in the shaft here was producing an interrupted cut. The surface finish is not the super best one, but that's not the machine, that's actually the tool. And I think my feed rate was a bit high. So let's measure that and we'll see. Well, what we can see is in this area we are 1 or 2 hundredths thicker than here. It starts about here somewhere. So from here to here we're a little bit thinner, but I need to try that with higher speed and a better tool. If it's 2 hundredths, I don't care. This is a 75-year-old machine, and it seems doing pretty well. Welcome back. Today we're looking after the top slide of our celt bend. As we probably can see, we've got about, now make that 50-60 degrees play here, but I can feel the nut is rocking. So I don't know if that's visible, but the Allen key is rocking. So I think this nut is just loose. So we got just under 45, which is a lot better. The rest is plain the nut. But the more important part is, as expected, the surface of the top slide is not flat. If I take my straight edge, I don't know if that's audible, but it rocks. And it does also rock here. And it's quite a bit, so it's high in the center. And we can see there are some wear marks. So we're going to take the thing apart and probably put it on the shaper. Yeah. If I can avoid that play. I think the nut is not so bad actually. We still have, let's check that with a feeler gauge. So this screws out here. The collar. Give that a quick clean and we'll see how it looks like. Don't know if that's visible, but that screw looks pretty good actually. It has a bit of wear. It has a bit of wear in the center. You can see the threads are a bit narrower, but I would say there is not much play here. That rock's probably nothing. So our issue is just that bearing. Our issue is the bearing here. We got some rocking in that bearing. We need to figure out how that's going to be tensioned. We'll find that out soon. I think we need to take that collar off. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. So we gave it another clean, and yeah, it looks pretty good. There's minimal wear in the center, so that's good news. Let's get that give off. Here it comes. Where it looks like on that. There's a little nick here. Maybe a chip or so. There's a nick here. That may have put some pressure on here. Alright, but overall very good shape. So let's get that nut off here. Here we have it. Just need to mark what's rear and what's front. This is the front. This nut is in pretty good condition. I'm surprised. If the whole machine is this way, I'm more than happy. This minimal play, this is almost nothing. So, and this is dry. There's a bit of sideways rocking, but back and forward, make that a tenth or so, tenth of a millimeter. The bigger issue was the nut was loose, so that bolt was loose, and we have the play in the bearing here. Let's look how the way looks like. Yeah, it was not threading here. You can feel this. Yeah, it's not flat. I can see some light on the left, so I don't know if that's visible on camera. Don't know if that's visible, but there's some light coming through. So this is the tailstock side here. That's interesting. I'm gonna put that onto the. Gonna put that on the stone and see. Oh, I need to fix that. bloody flashlight here. It's always the same. Tools don't work. It really. Okay, that's gone. Let's get another one. Alright, new flashlight. And I'm gonna do this way here. Yeah. Okay. So the top slide on this side, it's high here and probably here, and the rest is down. Let's see the other side. Same story here. Without bluing it, I would say we're high here and lower here. Might be here is okay as well. So this area is low. That explains why the grip was loose, because apparently if you move it in, it's binding. I couldn't feel it. It was a bit harder to turn, but it was still okay. But once I tightened the grip a little bit, it was okay. I could actually machine something. So but the other problem is this one here, and that's the major one. This is the tool rest. It's got some dings and dents and some battle marks as well. But get our flashlight again. You can see the light. Hopefully that's fairly visible. And it's actually worse in this direction. There's a lot of light coming through, and I can see I can rock the straight edge. I think this is at least 0.05 millimeters or so, and that's exactly what I could feel. That the tool post is actually rocking on the top slide. That's more. Still rocking, so it's 0.1 millimeter at least, and that's quite a lot. Yeah, it's 0.1 easily goes in at the edge here. Not here. Here, 0.1, 0.1. What I would say, this area is high. So, and yeah, we see some battle marks here. I think we take, there's some really bad ridges as well. I think we take it on the shaper and just give it a skim to make it flat again. That will cure that issue. With the vase itself, I think I'm not going to do anything bad enough. I can live with that, because again it was fairly okay. Let's look at this one here. Yeah, we can see some bearing here. There is some wear. I can feel a ridge here. Of course, the machine is 75 years old. What do you expect? feels very light. If we check where it actually turns, yeah, in this area we are high. Yeah, this is the highest point here. Makes sense. So this area is high. Makes sense because the clamping happens at the front. It's basically just two grip screws going into that dovetail here, that round thing, and that's clamping it down at the front. So the end is sort of loose. That will certainly explain that behavior. Again, it's minimal. I would probably leave it alone for now. There are some nasty battle marks as well here. Probably stone that. A bit more than stoning. This ridge is easily. You can see that. Yeah, had some contact with the chuck at some point, but this is actually coming up quite a bit here. That's at least 0.3, 0.4 millimeter coming up. Don't know if that's scratching inside here. Doesn't look like. Maybe just about enough clearance. There are some marks here. We'll see. I wouldn't bother actually at the moment. We may do that at a later date. But surprisingly good condition. I'm really amazed. And I think the issue we have is easy to rectify by just giving that a skim over, because I don't know if that's visible, but the surface looks really worn out. One reason is the tool holder. It's at the old days. Well, in the old days they probably used some lantern type tool holder, and I got it with a Dixon style holder. Someone welded that nut on here. Let's look at that. Just welded together here. So we do have clearance, so the T-nut has clearance to the top. That's good. So we can take down a couple of dowel here. Let's check the surface of the tool post. But this is hardened, so it shouldn't actually wear at all. Yeah, this feels pretty smooth. Might be the odd chip or so, but yeah, this looks good. As mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of these Dixon type ones because it's just not as versatile as a multi-fix, but apparently we don't have the right size multi-fix here, because the biggest I have is model A, which is okay for the small lathe, but for this one I think we need either an E or a B. Let's check what's the width of that. Well, that's 100 millimeters, so it's most likely an E type. It's most likely an E type multi-fix, which are hard to get because they were introduced later. B is a bit longer, it's about 120 or something like that. So it's a bit too big for that machine, or for the cross slide. Your tools shouldn't be longer. If you use any sort of tool holder, it shouldn't be much longer than your cross slide width. Otherwise you're sacrificing some travel, things like that. So this is the right size for that machine. It's just I'm not used to it. I think it's not a bad tool holder, I'm just not used to it. Okay. Anyway, I think the plan of action is put that on the surface plate first, see where we're at the bottom, and then try to figure out, well, we can do that right now, trying to figure out where we're at here. And that's 17, that's 15, that's 12, that's 16, can't check it in the middle, 15, 14, 13, see that, 19, 19, 16, 15. So we got, make that 500s, but I know in the middle it's a lot more. We got a variation in thickness here, but we need to check the bottom surface first because that's going to be our reference surface. If that's fairly okay, we just leave it alone, and then we're gonna machine that somehow. We know it's fairly flat on the surface because the distances are within a couple of hundred of a millimeter. It's mainly getting rid of the dents and nicks and make that flat, and then we should be good to go. Hoping that our chatter is gone then. So we finally got some light here. There's a little bit of scratch marks, but nothing really bad. I'm absolutely happy with that. It feels like there was a chip sometime. That is a little bit of a ridge, and I can feel it. It almost grabs my fingernail, so I'm gonna stone that off. So yeah, surprisingly good condition actually. Hopefully the play in the crosslight has the same issue, or it's most likely because there's play here in the bearing, and maybe the nut is loose as well, who knows. We'll find out. Well, that's it for today. We're gonna carry on as soon as possible. I'm a bit tired today, so that should conclude this part. Next part we're gonna address that top slide a bit more in detail. Alright, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, until next time.